Once upon a time, nestled by the vast, shimmering sea, lived a fisherman and his wife. Their home was a humble, ramshackle hut, a place so small and foul you could hardly stand it. Every day, the fisherman would go down to the shore, cast his line, and wait patiently for a bite. He was a simple man, content with his lot, finding peace in the rhythmic crash of the waves and the salty air. One morning, as the sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, he sat with his fishing rod, his gaze lost in the endless blue. Suddenly, his line tugged with a force he'd never felt before. He reeled it in with all his might, his heart pounding with excitement. But when he pulled the line from the water, it wasn't a cod or a herring on the hook. It was a magnificent flounder, its scales glittering like 1,000 tiny jewels. As he held it, ready to take it home for dinner, the flounder began to speak. "Fisherman, I beg you," it said, its voice surprisingly clear and noble. "Let me live. I am not a real fish. I am an enchanted prince. What good would it do you to kill me? I wouldn't taste very good anyway. Please, put me back into the water and let me swim away." The fisherman, utterly astonished, stared at the talking fish. He wasn't a man to argue with a magical creature. "Well," he stammered, "I suppose I can let a talking fish go." With a gentle motion, he unhooked the flounder and placed it back into the sea. It gave a flick of its tail, creating a long, golden streak in the water, and then vanished into the depths. He went home empty-handed, but his mind was full of the strange encounter. He found his wife, Ilsebil, mending an old net outside their wretched hut. "Husband," she grumbled without looking up, "did you catch nothing today? We have hardly a crust of bread left." The fisherman sat down beside her. "I caught a flounder," he began, "but it told me it was an enchanted prince, so I let it go." Ilsebil dropped the net and stared at him, her eyes wide with disbelief, which quickly turned to fury. "You did what? You caught a magic fish and you didn't ask for anything? We live in this disgusting hovel. It stinks, it's cramped, and the wind howls through the cracks at night. Go back. Go back right now and tell that fish we want a proper cottage. A cozy little cottage with a garden. Go." The fisherman didn't want to go. It felt wrong, greedy, but his wife's anger was a storm he couldn't weather. So, with a heavy heart, he trudged back to the seashore. The sea was no longer calm and blue. It had turned a murky green and grey. He stood at the water's edge and called out, his voice trembling slightly, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, come, I pray thee, unto me. For my wife, Ilsebil, wants what I do not will." Almost instantly, the flounder swam up to the surface. "Well, what does she want?" it asked. "Ah," the fisherman sighed, "she says we live in a pigsty, and she wants a nice, cozy cottage." "Go home, then," the flounder said kindly. "She has it already." The fisherman hurried back, and where their foul hut once stood, there was now a charming little cottage. A small garden bloomed with flowers, and inside, the rooms were clean and furnished. His wife stood at the door, a smile on her face. "See, husband," she said, beaming, "isn't this much better? Now we can live comfortably." For a week, maybe two, they were happy. The fishermen thought their troubles were over. But one evening, Ilsebil grew restless. "Husband," she said, her voice sharp again, "this cottage is too small. The yard is tiny. I look out the window and I feel cramped. That flounder can do better. I want to be a queen and live in a grand stone castle. Go back to the fish and tell him." "Wife, wife," the fisherman pleaded, "why would you want to be a queen? I don't want to be a king, and I don't want to ask the flounder for such a thing. He will be angry." "Nonsense," she shrieked. "He gave us the cottage. He can give us a castle. I am the one who will be queen, not you. Now go." Defeated, the fisherman went back to the sea. This time, the water was a deep, dark purple, churning with unease. The sky was overcast with heavy, grey clouds. He called out with dread in his heart, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, come, I pray thee, unto me. For my wife, Ilsebil, wants what I do not will." The flounder appeared, its golden scales looking dull in the gloomy light. "What does she want now?" it asked, its voice less friendly. "Oh," the fisherman said, his head bowed. "She wants to be a queen and live in a great stone castle." "Go home," the flounder said with a sigh. "She is in her castle." He returned to find a magnificent castle standing in place of the cottage. Towers reached for the sky, and guards in shining armor stood at the gates. Inside, the halls were draped in silk and gold. His wife sat on a high throne made of pure gold, a heavy crown on her head. "Husband," she declared, gesturing to the splendor around her, "now I am queen." He looked at her and said, "Wife, it is a grand thing to be queen. But now, let us be content." But contentment was not in her nature. The next morning, she woke him at dawn. "Husband, get up. I am queen, yes, but I cannot stand it that the sun and the moon rise and set without my command. I must be emperor. Go to the fish." "Oh, wife," he cried, "the fish cannot make you emperor. There is only one emperor in the land. He will be furious. I am queen, and you are my husband. You will do as I say. Go now," she roared. Shaking with fear, the fisherman obeyed. The sea was now black and thick, heaving and swelling into enormous, menacing waves that crashed against the shore with a deafening roar. A fierce wind howled, and the sky was a tempest of dark, swirling clouds. He screamed over the storm, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, come, I pray thee, unto me. For my wife, Ilsebil, wants what I do not will." The flounder emerged from the churning abyss. "What now?" it boomed, its voice like thunder. "Alas, flounder," the fisherman wept, "she wants to be emperor." "Go home," the flounder thundered. "She is emperor already." He went back, and the castle was even more immense. Banners flew from every turret. He found his wife on an even taller throne, this one carved from a single block of jade, wearing an even larger crown. Legions of dukes and counts bowed before her. "Now," she said, her voice filled with absolute power, "I am emperor." "Wife," he whispered, "it is good to be emperor. Please, let us ask for nothing more." But the very next day, her ambition soared higher. "Husband," she said, a strange, wild look in her eyes, "I am emperor, but the Pope has more power over the souls of men. I must be Pope. Go to the fish." "Wife, this is impossible," the fisherman gasped. "There is only one Pope in all of Christendom. The fish cannot do that. It is a wicked thing to ask." "Wicked or not, I will be Pope this very day," she screamed. "Go." He stumbled back to the sea, so terrified he could barely walk. The world was chaos. A hurricane raged. The sky was black as ink, split by lightning. The sea rose in mountains of black water. He could hardly hear his own voice as he shrieked into the gale, "Flounder, flounder in the sea, come, I pray thee, unto me. For my wife, Ilsebil, wants what I do not will." The flounder appeared, its eyes glowing like hot coals in the darkness. "What does she want now?" it bellowed, the sound shaking the very ground. She wants to be Pope," the fisherman sobbed. "Go home." "She is Pope," the flounder roared, and vanished into the storm. He found his wife in a colossal church, surrounded by 3 massive crowns, sitting on a throne that seemed to reach the heavens. Kings and emperors knelt at her feet. She looked at him, but her eyes were distant, cold. He watched her, a knot of ice in his stomach. He knew this was not the end. And he was right. She could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she thought of the sun and the moon, rising and setting beyond her control. Finally, she sent for him. Her voice was a chilling whisper. "Husband, I cannot bear it. I am Pope, but I want to control the rising and setting of the sun and moon. I want to be like God. Go to the fish. Tell him." This was the final straw. "Wife," the fisherman cried, falling to his knees. "The fish cannot do that. He can make you an emperor, a pope, but this is beyond him. For goodness sake, be content." Her face contorted with rage. "I will not be content," she shrieked, her voice echoing through the vast church. "I feel a power in me that will not rest until I can command the universe. Go to the fish." He fled from her, swept up in the most terrifying storm he had ever seen. Trees were ripped from the ground, rocks tumbled into the sea. The sky and the water were one indistinguishable, raging, black maelstrom. He screamed his desperate plea into the void one last time. The flounder's voice came from the depths, a sound of cosmic fury. What does she want now? The fisherman could barely speak. She wants to be like God. There was a long, terrible silence. The storm seemed to hold its breath. Then the flounder spoke, its voice quiet, but filled with a final, unbreakable judgment. Go home, then. You will find her in your old hut. And in a flash, the storm vanished. The sun shone gently, the sea was calm and blue again. The fisherman turned, and the grand church, the castles, the guards, the gold, it was all gone. And there, by the shore, was the same foul, stinking hut where they had begun. He opened the door, and there sat his wife, Ilsebil, in her old ragged clothes. They were back where they started, and there they have been sitting ever since. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from around the world.